2022 was a roller coaster for Henry Cavill and his fan base. From being leaked as a possible cameo in The Flash as well as Black Adam, to actually being in Black Adam as Superman once again, then having everything taken away from him after Warner Brothers and James Gunn decided not to bring him back as Superman. It's not been great, but we got some good news just before the year ended, so let's discuss it in today's video. First up, Henry Cavill is set to star and produce a Warhammer 40,000 series. All throughout 2022, it seemed like Henry Cavill just wasn't being dealt any good cards. He started the year with a bunch of rumors circulating that Superman could reappear in Black Adam in a cameo role and possibly appear in The Flash later down the line. Whilst neither of these cameos was officially confirmed at the time, we would later find out through leaks after an early screening that Superman would return in Black Adam for a post-credit scene. Following the release of Black Adam, it was officially announced by Henry Cavill through Warner Brothers that he would finally be returning to the role of Superman after all of these years. In a video that he posted on all of his social media accounts, the Man of Steel himself seemed extremely happy about the idea of coming back to the role and finally putting on the suit once again. All seemed good after a year of nothing much going on for the star, but then it was officially announced that he would be leaving The Witcher due to troubles behind the scenes. When it was announced that Henry Cavill leaving The Witcher, many fans were confused as this was a pure dream project for the star. He had read the books growing up and had loved the video game series throughout his entire life. Playing Geralt of Rivia was one of his dream roles, and to leave it behind in the middle of production was a very weird thing to see. However, two things came out that made all of this make sense for the star. One was that the writers behind the series didn't have much respect for the original source material as well as the video games. This Witcher series was based on the books rather than the video game series of the same name. This meant that Henry Cavill was heavily involved with adapting the source material and wanted to make it as faithful as possible. However, with the writers not really caring about the source material, Henry Cavill was dissatisfied with what was going on in the series. When the first season was released, many people enjoyed it and were looking forward to the second. However, when the second was released on Netflix, everyone was dissatisfied with the different takes it had on the books. You could tell Henry Cavill was dissatisfied, as in interviews just before the official departure was announced, he didn't look all too happy when talking about the series. The other reason for leaving the series was the possibility of coming back on as Superman. It was clear that he was told around this time that he would be back as Superman before the official confirmation. It was later revealed that on set for filming the Black Adam cameo, Henry Cavill was all but told that it was confirmed he was truly returning as the character, and Man of Steel 2 was currently being written. However, none of that came to fruition, as leads down the line, Henry Cavill was ultimately let go from DC after James Gunn took over the entire DC cinematic universe to redo it all. With this combo of creative dissatisfaction as well as poor communication behind the scenes, it looked like Henry Cavill was out of a job and was down in the dumps for good. But when things were looking dire for the Man of Steel himself, it was officially announced that he would be attached to star in and produce a series based upon Warhammer 40,000. Though we are sure many people watching today's video know what Warhammer 40,000 is, let's give a brief summary of what the game series is and how it might translate to live action. Warhammer 40,000 is a sci-fi tabletop dice game that was launched back in the late 1980s. It is set 40,000 years into the future and has a very dark and dire atmosphere to it. In this universe, human civilization has stopped progressing and is in an unending war with aliens as well as various magical beings. Some gods and demons figure into this huge class system with wars throughout the galaxy. There are various races such as the skeleton androids known as the Necrons, the Elvis race known as the Aldari, as well as orcs. One of the biggest groups in Warhammer 40,000 is of course the iconic Space Marines. These are what the series will most likely be based around, as they are more humanoid than anything else. They are huge, hulking men created in a lab just for war. If you know Henry Cavill well through interviews as well as other things online, then you would know that he is a die-hard fan of the game and has been for many years now. In various interviews recently, many journalists have been asking him about his love for Warhammer 40,000 as well as what army he plays. For a while now, he has been wondering if they would ever make a Warhammer 40,000 series and if he would ever be able to be attached to it. But it looks like Amazon has been doggedly pursuing the rights. There is huge potential for various movies as well as television series surrounding the Warhammer 40,000 stories, and it looks like one is finally being told on screen. Henry Cavill will presumably be the first to create a Warhammer 40,000 series with Amazon, and we can't wait to see what happens. I have loved Warhammer since I was a boy, making this moment truly special for me. The opportunity to shepherd the cinematic universe from its inception is quite the honor and the responsibility, says Cavill. I couldn't be more grateful for all the hard work put in by Vertigo, Amazon Studios, and Games Workshop to make this happen. One step closer to making a nigh on lifelong dream come true. We're excited to see this series come to life, but it's going to be a while before we get to see anything in terms of footage or even behind the scenes images. Let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on Warhammer 40,000 40,000, as well as what Henry Cavill is going to be doing shortly. Everything might have started poorly for Henry Cavill in 2022, but he ended it off with a bang and getting attached to one of his most beloved series. And now onto some other Henry Cavill Warhammer 40k news and information to wrap up today's video. Finally, Henry Cavill's Warhammer 40,000 series could be The Witcher all over again. Though we are extremely excited about Henry Cavill and the idea that he will be starring in his own Warhammer 40,000 project through Amazon, things might not go as well as people are expecting. Everyone had the same expression and experience when the Witcher series was originally announced with Netflix. Henry Cavill had been wanting to play Geralt of Rivia for many years and had advocated online for the role. When it was officially announced that he would be taking on the role, everyone in the fan base was extremely elated with the idea of it. This is the same thing that's happening right now with the Warhammer 40,000 community, but people shouldn't get their hopes up. We aren't saying that Henry Cavill is cursed or anything, but it just seems like a lot of these big companies don't care about the source material, and unless it's big enough. Even with big franchises such as Lord of the Rings, the eye for detail in terms of the source material isn't 100% there, as they want to adapt it for television and garner a new audience. In terms of Warhammer 40,000, there are so many stories to pick from and even create themselves. It's not exactly a hard thing to keep up with the source material, as all it really would be is characters and names. This means that we have very high hopes for the series in terms of Amazon sticking to the source material and Henry Cavill being content with it, but we don't know 100% if it's going to be good or not. How fans handle inevitable lore changes in the Warhammer series could make or break the series. One of the biggest things when adapting any sort of franchise into live action is the inevitable lore changes that come alongside it. It's not like everything can be perfectly adapted on the screen, as the writers will want to change a few things to create a compelling story for the audience. At the end of the day, this show isn't just for people who know about Warhammer 40,000, as it will most likely also be designed to get people into the community and the stories behind the games. Because of this, stories that many fans know daily will be slightly changed to adapt them on the screen. Henry Cavill himself is set to produce the series, so any changes he will most likely have to sign off on. This is a good sign, but one thing people are forgetting is what the fan base will think about it. If the fan base doesn't like all of these inevitable law changes that come with the Warhammer 40,000 series on Amazon, then the series isn't going to do well in their eyes. We already know that we live in a world where people base their viewing experiences on others through YouTube and social media. If one reviewer goes crazy online about how the series doesn't adapt the source material perfectly, then it's not going to get good reviews throughout the space. We hope that this project comes out well and that the writers know what they're doing. Henry Cavill should have a huge hand in the pre-production, production, and post-production of the series, so it should be good. And that's all we have to discuss Henry Cavill and his upcoming Warhammer 40,000 series with Amazon in today's video. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and hopefully you enjoyed this latest video. If you did, would you please let us know in the comments down below? It would be very helpful. Make sure to like the video, comment down below, and of course, subscribe to the channel with the notification bell rung. Thanks for watching. Bye now.